Hello, good evening, and welcome to 5 Year Club video number 103. Today, we're going to talk about your life, and specifically, we're going to talk about the hours that you have to yourself left in your life, and what they mean and how you can think about them. What is the life of a child worth? Who knows? Is that child Mark Zuckerberg? That's one way to think about how much a life is worth. Here's another way. Give me all your money, or I'll kill you with my hand on YouTube through a screen. That'd be actually creepy if I could pull myself through your computer screen. That would be like some terrible, terrible Italian version of The Ring. No, but I would give up my money. If somebody held me up with a gun and asked for my money, or they were going to kill me, I would give them my money. And now I'm like paranoid that my cat is eating something that she shouldn't. Oh well. Anyway, I was reminded of this scenario, of this kind of stick-up scenario, listening to a podcast interviewing a woman named Vicki Robin. She's notable because, together with a guy named Joe Dominguez in 1993, they both wrote a book called Your Money or Your Life. They both stopped working early. Joe Dominguez worked on Wall Street, retired at age 31 with about $100,000 in, I think, 1969. And he lived on about $6,000 a year. And I'm not going to talk too much about the Vicki Robin, Joe Dominguez story. I'll leave a link to that same podcast. And certainly, I think I tried listening to the book. I wasn't a huge fan of the book, but maybe I needed to give it a different try. But I just thought more today about that scenario. Give me your money, or I'll kill you. So you have to give this robber guy all the money in your wallet, some cash in your wallet, or your life ends right then. You don't even have 1 hour left. And what do you have in your wallet? Like $15, $20? Now let's think about that scenario differently. Let's think about if the robber is extremely slow and it's going to take you 30 years to give up that money. Are you still going to give up the money? Yes, no, that's pretty slow. We don't think about those situations the same way, but they are very similar. Because we only have a certain number of productive hours left in our working life. We only have a certain number of hours in our life left. And we're either going to buy those hours back by achieving financial independence, or we're going to wake up one day having not done the things we wanted to do, and all of our time is behind us. And so in a very real way, every month when we look at our budgets and when we think about how much we want to save and when we think about if we want to spend time planning investments, we're asked the question, how many more hours of your life are you going to buy back with your choices this month? How many hours are you going to have once you reach financial independence, if you ever reach financial independence? And do you value the things... Yeah, she was eating something on the kitchen counter, licking her lips. Oh, I think she was licking some oil from a pasta pan or something. Anyway, yeah, you're either going to value the things that you buy for however much money you buy them for, $10, $15, $50, $100, $1,000, or you're going to value your life, the time to do the things that you want to do instead of being forced to do something else. And we don't have infinite time. Someday we're going to be dead, and after we're dead, it's all over. There's no more dinners or friends or parties or memories or episodes of Law and Order, spring flower smells, dog pets. All of them are gone. There are many hours of our life already spoken for. A third of our life is going to be spent asleep. And if you have a spouse and kids, certainly they are going to consume a lot of your time with fun group activities that you always want to participate in. No, but even if you love your family, your spouse, your kids, your significant other, it's not time for yourself. It's not time to actualize things that you want to do. It can be fun time, and it's time that you're spending with other people. But if that's all you ever do, I suspect there's going to be a hole in your life someday when you're like, oh, there was that stuff I really wanted to do. If you don't plan to have that time to yourself someday by buying it back, you're not going to have it. Now I want to quantify these hours that we're talking about. I want to talk about how much they're going to cost for you to buy. And that will help you compare kind of, do you want to make this purchase or do you want to have this amount of time? What are your options? All right, and let's kind of minimize my head here. Ooh, I'm getting tiny. And let's try to increase the size of this spreadsheet. All right, and then I want to talk for a second about the way that I did this calculation. So the first calculation I did is, get a little bit bigger here. I assume that the person started at 22, all right? And I assume that you basically fall over dead at 60. And it's not a bad assumption. You know, Joe Dominguez died of cancer at age 58. Our time is not guaranteed. So we have 38 total years that we could have to ourselves. But we're only going to have money after, say, 1 year. So we're starting off at 0. So we can never buy the full 38. We're only ever able to buy something less than 38. And then we have a choice to make. Sorry, let's back up a little bit. I'm going to assume that every year that you buy, that you purchase for yourself, every year that you live after you have achieved financial independence, has 2,000 hours of quality awake time that you could be spending working on something. And the reason why I use 2,000 hours is because that is about an 8-hour day for 50 weeks out of the year. So I even give you a little vacation there. And that's about what we spend working at jobs. So it's based on 2,000 hours a year. And then we put away some amount of money every single month, $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, $2,500, $3,000, $3,500, $4,000. Now, obviously, if we put more money away, we're going to achieve financial independence faster. That's cool. But the faster we achieve financial independence, the less time compounding interest has to purchase financial independence for us. And so the more of our money we're having to pay to achieve this, rather than having market returns buy it for us. So there's a little bit of a trade-off going on there. However, if we wait to let the market compounding returns build up, we're going to have fewer hours left available to buy. And so each individual hour is going to cost more money. So what I've done here in this first section is it's just a compounding return calculator. I assume that based on the amount that you're saving on a monthly basis, I assume that you save that. So this is like what you would save in a year, saving those monthly amounts. And then I do the compounding returns based on 7%. So, I assume that this $6,000 is going to compound at 7%, and I'm going to add another $6,000 here, and then this is going to compound at 7%, and I'm going to add another $6,000 here, and we're just going to keep going because $6,000 is $500 a month times 12 months. We're just going to keep going for all the years, and then we're going to do that similarly for these different amounts of monthly savings. What I've done is I've marked different levels of comfort with these different colors. So if you wanted a $2,000 a month income when you reach financial independence, you're going to need about $600,000 saved. That's the 4% rule. And so I've marked in green when you would exceed $600,000 for all of these different savings levels. So obviously the lower the savings level, the more time it takes to hit $600,000. Now it's not perfect because, this is done by years, not by months, and so I'm not getting these exactly right, but I'm getting them close enough to show the point. The yellow section is the first time your net worth would hit $900,000. And I wanted to show that because $900,000 represents about $3,000 a month in monthly spending once you hit financial independence. And finally, if you want to be a baller spending $4,000 a month in your financial independence, you're going to need to hit $1.2 million. And that is what this red section is. It is the first time that you hit $1.2 million at the different savings levels. So for example, if you are saving $1,000 a month starting at age 22, you are not going to have the baller retirement until year 31 of your career. You're going to have to work a 30-year career. However, if you're willing to save, say, $2,000 a month and have a retirement that is only $2,000 a month, so you are saving $2,000 a month in order to retire on $2,000 a month, you will only need to work half that time. You'll only need to work 15 years. So we've seen similar numbers to this before. All right. Now the next thing I did is I wanted to know how much each hour would cost you depending upon what plan you decided to follow. So what I did is I took the entire contribution that you made in order to get to $663,000, not the full $663,000, mind you, but just the contribution that you had to invest for those years of your own money in order that the total after the investment returns were included would equal something above $600,000. And then I divided that contribution by the remaining hours in the years that would be left in your working life. So for example, on this number, I've been working for 10 years out of 38 total years. So I should have about 28 years left. And I have contributed, in this particular scenario, $4,000 a month, $48,000 a year for 10 years. So my contribution is going to be $48,000. $48,000 divided by the remaining years, 28 years, multiplied by 2,000 hours per year is equal to $8.57 per hour. So in this scenario, I have purchased the last 28 years of my productive, healthy adult life for $8.57 an hour. And we can see that many of these scenarios where we're saving, $2,500 or more, we are able to hit this minimum level of financial independence after working for 10, 11, 12, 13 years. And the cost of our time is all something around the $8 mark per hour. And again, this varies a little bit, partially because I'm only splitting it up by years instead of something more accurate like months. But we can see that the remaining hours cost about $8 per hour. You get fewer of them as it takes you longer to reach financial independence. But the rate per hour is the same. It sticks around $8 an hour. And then it starts to go up. If we look at this $1,000 a month savings plan, now you're paying something like $9.20 an hour. And if you are only saving $500 a month, even at the minimum retirement scenario, you're paying more per hour. You're paying $13.29 an hour. And if you want to be more comfortable, then you're going to pay more per hour. So we can quickly look at this scenario where a person would work for 23 years and they would be able to retire at 23 years at these three different comfort levels, depending upon how much they saved. This first one is going to be $1,000. The next one is $2,000. And the final one is $3,000. But you can see that it's not 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. It's 1,000, 1,500, and 2,000. But you can see in the scenario where you're saving 2,000, you can see that you're paying double the rate per hour in order to achieve that $4,000 a month income at that same point in time. So you're definitely paying you're paying what you need to pay, because 1840 is just 2 times 920. And your retirement hours, I guess, are more expensive because you have more money to spend during those hours. All right, and so if you started saving when you are 22, then safe for you to say when you make a purchase with $8 or $7 or whatever it is, that you just traded away an hour of your life. So was it worth it? Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. It's nice on the one hand that it's so cheap per hour to be able to purchase your time. But it's also kind of scary that your time is worth so little. And it's also kind of scary that such a small contribution is worth a whole hour of your limited, finite lifespan. All right, and here what I did is I marked the remaining percentage of your career left so that you could see, if you just came into it saying, you know what, I want to own 2/3 of my career. I want to own half of my career. This is showing you what you would have to do from age 22 to get there. You would need to save, if you wanted 2/3 in this case, you would need to save $2,500 a month from age 22. If you want to achieve half of your career, right here, if you want to own half of your career and be retired by that time, then it looks like you're going to need to save at least $1,500 a month starting at age 22. And if you just want the final 1/3 of your career, then it looks like this one's not going to do it, so we have to move up to here. You're going to save $1,000 a month starting at age 22 if you want to have control of the last 1/3 of your career. Okay, Lewis, that's great, but I didn't start saving aggressively at age 22. What deal do I have? Well, if we rework the numbers starting at age 33, because that's my age and I get to pick the age and it's my show, yeah, then our investments are going to work the same. The market's going to we can use that same 7% per year market assumption. It's just that there is a smaller remaining percentage of our career left, because at this point, 11 years have already occurred before our savings program starts. And so whereas if we had started saving at age 22, our earliest possible retirement, saving $4,000 a month, gave us 73% of our time. If you're age 33 and you're just starting, the most aggressive savings level can only buy you 44% of your time. So, life is finite, and if you're starting late at age 33, you've lost some time. There are also fewer remaining hours because you have lost time, and as a result, the price per hour has gone up. Starting at age 22, an hour of your time was worth about $8 for many of those scenarios. But starting at age 33, it's now closer to $15 per hour, which means that when you make a $15 purchase, you have to think about, do I really need this? Do I really need to spend this $15, or do I want to use this $15 to buy back my time? Now, if you're excited about your time and you're excited about choosing how you spend your life, then yeah, it's upsetting that it's $15 now instead of $8, but you got to spend that $15 on your time because you want your life. You want to do whatever you're going to do before you get kicked off the mortal coil. And so it's an increased savings urgency. You're going to have to step up your game and double up. And similarly, at these higher luxury levels, if you're going to go beyond $2,000 a month of spending, if you're going to get to $3,000 a month or $4,000 a month, it's going to cost you more per hour. And in order to have the last third of your life third of your career available to you to spend however you like, you're going to need to really kick it up a notch in terms of income and savings. You're going to need to hit, something in the $3,000 a month savings range, I would say. And of course, if you wait until the bitter end, your time is now extremely expensive because there aren't many hours left. There isn't much time for compounding interest to help you. And bummer. Okie doke. So, over time, these hours increase in price when you don't save. So it's a good idea to save some money and start buying your time back now, so that you can lock in those lower rates for buying back your time. And, I mentioned before that Joe Dominguez died of, I think, lymphoma at age 58. But the reason why Lewis is talking about him in 2018, which I think is possibly over 20 years since he died. I haven't actually worked out when he died. It's because he was able to spend his life, instead of working on Wall Street doing spreadsheets, creating a nonprofit, writing a book, and evangelizing these ideas of financial freedom, valuing your time, buying back your time, and planning for that. I'd like to point out something that's not obvious from spreadsheets always, and that is that, let's look at this scenario right here. So you're saving $4,000 a month. I know it's an insane scenario. It's a really high savings rate. And you're doing it so that you can hit this green thing right here. And the green thing means that you're going to be able to spend $2,000 a month. right? Or we could look at it a different way. We could say, okay, instead of the 4,000, let's save like, 2,000, right? So let's just say the person makes $6,000 a month, right? They make $6,000 a month and they save $2,000 a month, and they would hit financial independence right here. Can you see that? I hope. Okay, come on. There-ish. Yeah, now you can see it. All right. So someone making $6,000 and saving $2,000 after 13 years, they hit. Nope, I was wrong. After 15 years, they hit financial independence. Mari, we're moving off the table. You're not supposed to be here. All right, your show isn't until later. Here's the thing, and here's the problem, is that even though in theory a person can live on $2,000 a month, the person who makes $6,000 and reaches this point has trained themselves for 15 years to spend $4,000 a month. And it is going to be emotionally painful and unappealing to cut back. So even if they save $2,000 a month and hit this number, they're not going to want to actually stop working. And I think that's an important point. When we're planning for financial independence, we need to be living in a way that is similar to the way that we would live during financial independence. That way, it's not a big deal when we stop working and we start living. There's not a lot of changes in our spending. There's not a lot of disappointment. Not a lot of stuff goes away. We don't doubt ourselves. Life just continues. And in addition to doing the numeric investment preparation, we've also done the emotional preparation to be content and happy with the lifestyle that we were targeting when we thought about how much time we wanted left, how much money we would be able to save, and what kinds of things we wanted to do with our life. And I just wanted to point that out as you're thinking through this issue and as you're thinking through your own retirement. A lot of people plan their retirement with numbers that involve serious cutbacks after they stop working, and I think it's a really bad idea. Not only because there's the risk that you'll just continue to spend and your nest egg won't actually support you for the rest of your life, but also because it's just going to be a big shock to you to stop working and to stop having that work identity at the same time that in your personal life you're also having to make a lot of changes and psychologically adjust to what those mean, and also figure out what to do differently than what you were doing before. All right, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed 5-Year Club video number 103, Your Money or Your Life. We can quantify how much the remaining hours of our time cost, and when we make spending decisions, even for small amounts, all this stuff is less than $20, we have to think about if it's really worth it, or if we would rather take advantage of our one time in reality on Earth, period. Okay, that's it for 5-Year Club video number 103. Have a fabulous evening.